morning. Welcome to the Pitchline Chronicles. I'm Lataz here with Donald, and guest joining us today, we have Rob with us. Rob, look, I think right now, Yankees aside, it is great to have you on with us. We miss you terribly. I know Donald does, but the world wants to know, where have you been?
Where in the world is Rob? I've been working. I've been working, and recently I've been moving. And I just got finished with that. So it's been a pretty hectic 5 months to start the year, but I'm happy to be on with you guys and see everybody in the chat. It's been a long time coming. I told Donald last month we were watching the draft that I wanted to pop on sooner than later just to say hello to everybody. But yeah, it's I've been watching, and I miss you guys. I miss this chat. I miss TC, Healing Men's Heart, all you guys. I miss every single one of you. So it's been a long time. I'm glad to see everybody.
Yep. Yeah, we got to. What has been your, like? Obviously, we always know you've been keeping. We all keep in touch with each other. That's no secret. But really start off. What's your take on how's this season been looking for you? What are you looking for out of this Yankee team? Because we've been saying there's a different vibe this year. There's been more of a sense of urgency up until they brought Volpe back up. That they're actually taking things a little more seriously.
Yeah, I mean, even Aaron Boone's answers in post games are different, right? Like he's not making excuses for everybody. He was actually kind of critical of Volpe the other night, rightfully so, because right on cue he messed up a ground ball. But I mean, I'm not surprised that the weather's heating up and the Yankees are cooling off. It's kind of what they do, and no matter how different things are, the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's the saying, right? And here we are. The Yankees start off hot. We're like, maybe burning it back. Yanks are not a bad idea after all. And now we're losing games and can't score, and the bullpen still stinks, and Anthony Volpe still can't play his position correctly. So it's just like, once he came back, all hell broke loose. Stanton got some bad news on his rehab. Fried's got the elbow issue, and the bullpen can't make anything happen anymore. Not that they really could, but you brought back the curse. It's like he wasn't on the team, and they were playing almost flawless, and you brought him back, and things are starting to fall apart. But it's luckily it's still May 15th, so there's still a hell of a lot of baseball. But the fact that we're already creeping up to that part of the year where it's like, here come the June swoon Yankees, but now it's a month early. We're like, we'll see though, because we had that great start. Then they struggled. Then they were red hot. Now they're struggling again. So maybe tonight's the start of another hot streak.
Yeah, let's hope so. Donald, how you doing on this morning?
Well, I'm better now that Rob's here. Salute to Rob. And it's so great to see everybody in the chat. Welcome our boy back. So, it says a lot how people miss you, man. So, I couldn't resonate with a point more than as soon as we started hearing that Volpe was on the way back, that things started to go wrong. And you see the one game that Volpe actually played, the entire defense fell apart. Now, I'm not saying it's all his fault, but it's hard to overlook the reality that once he's back, then things have started to go really wrong. I mean, when Caballero was back there, whenever the ball was hit to that part of the infield, you could all just chill. You can take a deep breath. It's going to be an out. We're good. No problem. No issues. It'll be dealt with. But with Volpe, chaos. That I can guarantee. So that's what's happened here. So I told you so. I told you guys. He has been a butcher in AAA. A butcher in AAA. He's having a nightmare down there, and he didn't earn the right to come back up. They should have gone another direction. He did not earn it. The best thing they could have done for him is to show him the kind of accountability that he doesn't show himself, and that's to work hard down there and get better at his game, and maybe have somebody to really work with him, because his swing still looks shot. That I've already seen. His swing looks shot in AAA, and it looks worse in that one game right there. It looks dreadful. And his fielding mechanics are still all over the place. He allows the ball to play him. I'm shocked that the Yankees are okay with that. He keeps sitting back and waiting for the ball to play him, and that's not how you play the shortstop position. Um, I'm shocked that they're okay with that because that's happened multiple times already. Um, Down in the minors all last year and already in that one game that we've seen. He just sits back. You've got to attack the ball. You got to make the plays, and you got to have better footwork back there. All of it's just wrong. Like there's some serious work that needs to be done on that kid, and they just don't want to do it. Um, and I don't know whether he wants to do it either, because I came across a really weird quote where he says, "Oh, it's not up to me, and we'll see," and all that stuff regarding, his future with the Yankees. It is up to you, bro. They handed you the shortstop position. They handed it to you. That shortstop position is yours if you want it. They basically opened the gates, the golden gates, and rolled out the red carpet for you, bro. You've had the Kings treatment your entire career as a Yankee so far. I've never known a more blessed Yankee. Like honestly, it doesn't matter what base that you throw to, how many errors you make, how many times you go for 3 with an error and with 3 strikeouts. It doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. We love you. He's gotten nothing but the best treatment on earth, and still he doesn't quite get it. At the end of the day, if he works really hard and gets better at his game, then good things could happen. But he just doesn't do it because he's entitled. There's people in the chat that call him snooty. I do tend to agree he's a little snooty because we've seen last year when in the game where he threw to the wrong base and allowed a runner to score, and then he shrugged and went, do it again. That's the kind of attitude which rubs people the wrong way. Not the Yankees, of course. Not the Yankees, of course, but everyone else. They're perfectly. It's not good because Rob, if your boss went to you and went, "Why did you make that mistake yesterday? It's cost us a customer," or a customer's angry, and then you shrugged and went, "I'd do it again." How would that go down? Probably not very well.
I don't know.
If I do that in my job, or if Tats did that in his job, right? Oh, someone got hurt at your school, Uncle Tats, and then Uncle Tats went, "I'd do it again." That shit is gonna go badly.
See, they got him.
But for freaking Anthony Volpe, it's perfectly fine because Anthony Volpe gets just King's treatment, and it's absurd. It really is, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick to death of him. Rob.
I tried for years on here to be like, oh, just be an average bat with the plus glove. Just try. Just do that. And the last 2 years, he's been everything but average. I mean, everything below average. He's terrible. He can't hit, he can't field, and his attitude is something that you can't even be like, oh, he's a rookie. No, he's in year 4 now. It's not like he's a young player who's going through a tough stretch of, like he's had like a bad week, but otherwise was really good. We've seen a few flashes where he looks brilliant, and we've seen mostly bad play. And the fact that he's back for one day, AAA, he had that base running gaff where he didn't know how many outs there were, and he just stopped. And so it's like you're seeing it still happen in AAA, and it really does make you wonder what they're actually teaching or not teaching to the players down there. So, it's just been more of the same, and it's like it always seems to find him, whether it's a big moment and he can't come through, or the defensive mishap where the defense has been otherwise good across the board. He's the one that's struggling, and it's always the same excuse with him. I'll do it again. But at least this time Aaron Boone wasn't like defending him. He wasn't banging table. He's elite. You don't know what you're talking about. He was like, you got to clean that up. It's not a good play. And I was a little happy to hear that. I'm still not happy that the team is struggling again, but it's just been it's just like once he came back, like here we go again with the team starting to forget how to play the game of baseball. It's and I know it's because the injury, because Caballero went down, because they made it pretty clear that he was the guy because they optioned Volpe originally. So, but I would at this point just start Schumann. And if he just start Schumann, start him at shortstop or put Rosario out there. I know Rosario's defense is not good at short.
Rosario?
I'd put him
What
out
about
there.
Rosario? He's actually played well this year.
Yeah, he's been great. I'd put him out there more as much as you possibly can. But Volpe needs to be on the bench until Caballero's back. And then once Caballero's back, you just send him back down. With Lombard shooting up the system this year the way he has, and the way that Caballero's played, even Rosario, I just don't think there's a spot for Volpe anymore. Even if you try switching him to second base, I don't know if that's going to help because just more of the same would be happening at second.
I mean, I completely agree, man. But I guess the good news was that Aaron Boone didn't exactly fall over himself to defend Anthony Volpe after that last game. Like he was kind of like, yeah, he didn't make the play. Whereas last year he'd be like, wait, how could you say that about my baby boy? You know what I'm saying? It's like at least he was a little bit more, he was a little tougher about it. But they need to seriously cut ties with it. It's done. It's done. It's cooked. It's finished. Like Volpe is finished. I don't think he can be repaired as a Yankee. I don't. Do you want to play in second base? No, not for me. I don't want to play in second base. His arm is dreadful, and I know it would probably translate better at second, but I don't like his offense, nor do I like his attitude. So I think it's best just to like cut ties with him, honestly. Send him down there, and then if he can really get working on his game and get better numbers than what he was putting up in AAA, bro, he had like a 27% on base percentage in AAA. Like he wasn't doing anything. He only barreled one ball in AAA. Only barreled one ball. He had an OPS of like 590 in AAA. And the Yankees were like, "I'll come back up." I mean, that made no sense. Like it was clearly he was struggling. Clearly he was struggling, so he needed to be down there. And they made a really bad mistake, and it's just brought bad juju. That's what I feel. I think it's just brought bad juju back to the roster. I think the fans are pissed. It brought needless spotlight to the Yankees because now all the professional Anthony Volpe haters on Twitter are like, can't wait for him to make a mistake, for them to start posting clips of him making mistakes and stuff like that. And all it's done is brought needless attention to the Yankees that they didn't need. Because newsflash, whenever Anthony Volpe plays, bad things happen for the Yankees. So they need to just get real with that. By the way, we have almost 90 people in the chat. That says a lot about how much people have missed Robinho. So that's pretty cool. But everybody, could you please hit the like button, share it out, sum it up. Let's get more people in the chat to come and say hello and welcome our third co-host who's back. It's been a while, my friend. It has been a while. Robinho, give me your thoughts on Austin Wells, because this is a problem. Austin Wells is more of a problem than Anthony Volpe for me. Robinho.
Man, he's another case of a guy that you want to see produce, right? You want to see Austin Wells hit. You want the homegrown guys to come up. I felt the same way about him that I felt about Gary Sanchez when it just didn't work out. I don't know what you can do. You put Rice back there and then start Goldschmidt every day at first, because I know Goldschmidt's hitting, but I think you want to keep him exclusively against lefties. So I just don't know what you do because he hasn't really hit at all. I mean, last year he had 20 home runs, just slightly above 700 OPS, which isn't the worst, but even defensively, I don't know if he's someone that you go and look at and go, wow, he's amazing back there. Can't challenge calls at all. His challenging of the ABS system is dreadful.
Oh,
Then again, so is the whole team. But aside from framing and like the occasional good arm here and there, I don't really know what like. There's really no one in AAA right now or AA that's coming up through the system
right.
that can take that spot. So you kind of got to hope that
he traded a lot of our depth, dude, didn't we?
Fortunately, those guys have cooled off. Like Ramirez got sent down from the Marlins because he's been terrible since the second half of last year. Narvaez,
He still has 3 times the RBIs that Austin Wells has.
This is true, but it's just like, you know, I really wish I can figure it out with Wells because his swing should be perfect for the bottom of the lineup, just pulling it down the right field line. And you take that 20 home run power from a catcher every single time, but it's just like his bat just not producing. I think his defense has been a little bit overrated, but we have too many defensive first, offensive second guys. Like him and McMahon at the bottom of the order are just like a black hole. And let's not forget that Jazz has not been hitting at all. So you have like at least a third of your lineup that are just not doing the job offensively. And it causes you to have these kind of spells where if Judge and Rice aren't carrying most of the job themselves, you're going to have these games where you can't score. So Austin Wells has been very disappointing these last 2 years. All of last year offensively, I would say he was a disappointment, but not terrible because he did end the season a little bit better. But the way he started off this year has been rough, and that's putting it nicely.
And I do agree with you. I do think that they've overcorrected. Too many all defense guys. Austin Wells has 5 RBIs in 100 at bats. That puts him down in
terrible spot.
Joint 44th, which would actually make him 47th. And that's like you have to go right down the list of MLB catchers to find him way down there, bro. He's almost 50th in RBIs, and he's got 100 at bats. And then you look at the people above him. I mean, Luis Torrens has 50 at bats. He's half the at bats, and he has 8 RBIs. JC Escara is an even better example. He has 44 at bats. He has 6 RBIs. So somehow people look at Daniel Susak of San Francisco. He's hardly this offensive juggernaut. He has more RBIs than Austin Wells in 23 at bats. This is absurd. We have somebody that has over 100 at bats at major league level, and you're looking at guys that are on base ahead of him, like Bellinger's always on base a lot. Rice has started off incredible. Got Aaron Judge doing Aaron Judge things. Okay, you've got those guys ahead of you, and you still can only drive in 5 RBIs. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. But where do you go? You can't go to JC Escara because he's exactly the same. He's just basically a defensive first lefty catcher, which is exactly what Austin Wells is. So where do you go? And as you say, Rob, where do we go in AAA? It's not exactly something like beating on the door going, I can play catcher. Brian Cashman traded a lot of catchers. A lot of catchers over the last 2 years. He overcorrected. He overthought that Austin Wells was his guy, and he's wrong. Austin Wells is not his guy. He is not the answer. What do you think?
No, it's. I think with the catching situation, you could talk about the depth, with shortstop, second base, first base, third base. Like they've built the depth around every position except for catcher. Like they put all their eggs in the Wells basket with JC Escar being able to, withstand having the plug and play, and it's not working. And it was obvious that it wasn't going to work. We came into the season, I know I did, after watching how Wells was playing in the WBC, you thought that there'd be a little more carryover into the regular season. But once the regular season started, Wells just went cold. It's like, he just exhausted all his energy in the WBC because he's been pretty much at zero since the season started. They're going to talk about the pitch frame and everything like that. That's only going to take you so far now with the ABS system. Your framing is not a benefit, or cannot be a primary benefit of why you hold the catcher on your roster, because they don't have the liberty of just stealing strikes, balls and strikes anymore. So that's where Wells just really lost a lot of his value. And that's a big problem for the Yankees going forward because, like you said, nobody, we have catchers doing well down in the minor leagues, but nobody's ready yet to start kicking down the door. They're still a long ways away from being major league ready. And, when you're trying to figure out how to get run support for your pitching staff, especially, still everything with Max Fried in the air of what's going on, you're going to need to put up more numbers. The pitching staff, has pretty much carried the weight of the entire season so far, with the exception of a handful of games where they've gone, and put up a lot of crooked numbers and innings. The offense really, and that's kind of what the offense hasn't really taken off yet. But with the players that we're with Wells, Jazz, now that Volpe's back, Spencer Jones hasn't really gotten going yet since he's been called up. You're seeing just a complete fall off of the offensive numbers that we were seeing when the Yankees were riding high with the pitching staff. That's something that definitely needs to be addressed quickly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So we have 125 people in the chat. It's 127 now. If y'all that are watching on X want to hop on over to YouTube and hit that like button, and it really would help the algorithm and do all the good stuff. Let's share it out. Let's continue to get a good conversation this morning. But yeah, we're right on it so far. So I do agree with that. Rob, obviously, Jazz. Well, what are your thoughts on Jazz? Because you've seen my shows. I was really upset with him. For calling his own shot, essentially, at the start of the year. I'm going to have a 50-50 year. He basically was calling his own shot. I'm going to get 130 million or whatever it was that you wanted in his contract. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 50-50. And now he's on pace for like 2020. It's like life comes at you hard, right? It comes at you fast. And he's learned that. He's been awful. He's been absolutely dreadful. And then the most recent example, after he had another awful game with terrible at-bats where it looks like he's swinging a golf club, he hid from the media instead of facing the music. So, it looks like it's getting to him. But then, of course, Aaron Boone just had him back in the lineup the next day. No problem. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on Jazz? He's in the last year of his contract. Is there any value in a trade? And what are your thoughts on his attitude and what he's been saying this year?
Normally, I wouldn't care if you're saying you're going to go get a 50-50. I'm like, go do it. Show us. That's what I would want to see. If he was a 50-50 player, we'd be undefeated right now. But it's just been everything. It's been everything wrong with him. It's like between the talking, which usually I'm fine with. I'm like, go talk the talk if you can back up what you're saying. But he hasn't done it. The energy is one thing, but if you're not performing, it's going to get tiring real quickly for anyone, not just the Yankee fan base, for baseball fans in general, sports fans in general. You're going to get sick of that. You're talking, but you're not performing. It's like if you're a basketball player, I'm going to go drop 40 tonight and you put up 3. It's like, it's like you can't go out there and run your mouth when you did not perform. So, and it bugs me because he's a good player. He's got, I don't know about 50-50, but he's got 30, 40 potential. In his first full season in terms of games played, he was pretty much a 40-40 guy. as a Yankee. So you know it's there. You know he's got the pop. You know he's got the speed. You know he's an excellent defensive second baseman. It's like this guy should be the perfect player that you want to keep around. Do not go get Bo Bichette to replace Jazz. He's been terrible too. So it's like, it's been confusing because usually in a contract year, that's where players overperform. Case in point, Trent Grisham. But he's underperforming by a long shot, and it's annoying because I really do like Jazz, but it's hard to defend a player that you want energy from your team. You want energy from players. You want that. And when you're like, nice. Yeah, I want to hear that. I want to hear that confidence. Go back up the talk, though, and he's not doing it. So I don't know how much longer you can put up with it if you're a manager. If things really are different this year, we'll see. If they are different like people are saying they are, he won't be in the lineup as much. Maybe Lombard gets called up to play short and Cabby plays second when he comes back healthy. Maybe something like that happens in a month or so, and they do dangle Jazz in some trade talk. So maybe that happens. It's been confusing because this guy is a very good baseball player, but for whatever reason, he's just been awful this year, and you don't really see the signs of a turnaround because usually like, oh, he's making better contact, the bat speed's there, the exit velo's up, launch angles up, things like that kind of signal the turnaround's coming. Not for him. It's a lot of rollovers, a lot of swing and misses. And like you said, him kind of ducking the media isn't really a good look either. Not that I really care because the media can be absolute leeches sometimes. But when you're struggling, sometimes it helps to be like, hey, what do you think you can work on? And then you want to see an honest answer. But
it's also kind of their obligation, though. I do believe it's like an obligation that they do need to talk and not run away and hide.
Right.
I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is because my opinion is that he's talked himself into a terrible season. That's my personal belief. It's like if you set a 50-50 and then you're looking up at the scoreboard and you've got a 100 batting average, you're batting like $180, and you're doing nothing, then you're going to put more pressure on yourself, and then it's going to be in your head, and then it's just going to snowball and snowball and snowball, and like he just doesn't have the right mentality for me. As I've always said, baseball's the great equalizer. Like, don't mess with the baseball gods. And it's for me, the hardest thing in the world is to hit a baseball, especially one that's coming at you 100 miles an hour. You have to be right on it. Like a split second is the difference between hitting a line drive and swinging and missing. And I do believe that a lot of the shit that he's doing off the field, with his businesses and his OnlyFans wife and whatever, and his just I think he seems lazy as shit as well. He just seems lazy as shit, and I think it's come back to bite him in the ass. And if there's one player that deserves to get a reality check, it's Jazz. Because for me, all the talent, as you said, bro, all the talent in the world, like all the talent in the world, potential Gold Glove second baseman, elite speed, elite base runner, elite power. He's got the whole bag, but
it's his head game.
He's the one that's stopping himself. And a really good manager, for me, would be a lot tougher with him. But I think the Yankees are afraid of kind of like either completely losing him, or they're kind of pussyfoot around him because they think that the only way to get through to somebody is to create this kumbaya, we love each other atmosphere in the locker room that Aaron Judge and Aaron Boone cultivates. But like, I think that if a manager was a lot tougher with him and would be like, yo, cut this shit. Stop with your big proclamations and really focus. Like, if you want to be a Yankee, now's the time. I just don't think that he's wired that way, and I don't think he genuinely cares with the yawning in the postseason and all that shit. That rubbed me the wrong way. Like, that's my opinion. Do you agree, Rob, or am I being overly harsh?
I mean, I agree to a point, but at the same time, if we go a month or so from now, because another one of his comments could come back to bite him. He said, once the weather heats up, so will I. So let's wait till the weather heats up, right? We're going to be using your words against you. So we'll see if on June 20th or something like that, let's give it another month and 5 days plus. If he's still hitting 208 with the 600 OPS, then we're going to put your words back at you. Be like, hey, you said once the weather heats up, it's fucking 150 degrees out. Well, where's the bat? You know, like that's what we're going to be asking you. Like the fans are out there sweating their asses off watching you play, but you still can't hit one out of the infield. So that's where sometimes what's the saying? Don't write checks that your ass can't cash, something like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then that's kind of what he's been putting himself into by saying, I'm going to do this when the weather heats up, so will I. I'm going to be a 50-50 guy. Well, it's tough to be 50-50 when you're struggling to get to 6 right now. You know, he's been great defensively. That's still a plus, but you want to see that bat come around because he is a middle-of-the-order bat when he's on. Obviously, we don't have Stanton right now, but you got to imagine if he was his usual self with him, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, when he's been fine, he usually struggles to start the year. When you get these guys going, the lineup should be an absolute force to reckon with. But you need Jazz you absolutely need him because much like the catching situation, there's really nobody else. Even Lombard right now isn't necessarily ready yet, but he's getting closer to knocking on the door. You need him to get going because he's too important to this team. But it's just the way it looks right now. It's hard to find a scenario where he's still here in 2027 if we have a season in 2027. But I can't see a way that you keep him around, especially considering he wants $30 million a year.
Oh, I mean, that's out of the
No,
question.
the money he's asking for is that's outrageous. That's not even. I didn't want to get into that. The whole thing with and I said to start the year off when they had that on-field interview with Jazz and they actually, you really raised the bar with your 50-50 prediction. And he's like, well, I don't want to be the same player I was last year. I want to be better. And if I'm going to go big, go big. And I had a lot of people had, took issue with him saying that. I didn't. I actually like that he wanted to raise his own bar and push himself to be better. But when you're playing like this, you need to tone down, how you speak. And, maybe that's why he's kind of ducking the media a little bit. He knows how cocky and arrogant he can get when he's being interviewed and doesn't want to put his foot further in his mouth. But that doesn't serve the fans any better because it's not giving us any inclination of what you're working on. Just say, I still feel I can have a big season once I get things going, but I need to work on, my plate discipline. I'm just, I'm not seeing the ball the right way. Maybe he needs new glasses. I don't know. But he's got to do something to turn this thing around because I don't see it coming from the catching position. I think Wells is what he is. He's just, I thought year 3 is when Wells would kind of come into his own, but he's not. He's just the catching version of Volpe right now. And it's disappointing because I thought he was going to have a huge season. But Jazz definitely, he's the guy that needs to start, putting the better at bats together because it's been terrible.
So, obviously, the title of our show is about Max Fried. So, obviously, this is going to be a big topic of conversation. We're still awaiting the results of the MRI. It's been a while. We've been waiting days. I don't believe no news is good news in this regard. I believe that if it came back totally clear, I think we probably would have heard something by now. I think that there's some kind of an injury there that's going to take some kind of an element of time. And they're maybe going for a second opinion, or maybe they're just looking really in depth at the results, hence why we haven't heard anything yet. But let's go into some of the stuff that Max Fried said. He said that there's been numerous starts this year where his elbow felt the way it was described below where he said he's feeling kind of hyperextended or banged in the back of his elbow / tricep area. I'm not too worried about a super long-term thing, he said. He said, if I can, I would love to be able to make my next start, but we'll see. I think that's probably out of the question. I don't think we're going to see him in his next start. I'm pretty confident of that. What do you guys think? Like, do you think it's going to be Tommy John, or do you think it's going to be like maybe a case where he misses 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then we'll wait and see kind of a thing? Well, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think with Rondon back, you can afford to, maybe have him miss a start or two and just see, how he does with bullpen sessions to see if there's any issues going forward. I think, if it was really a Tommy John situation, I don't think that even he would be talking about, wanting to make his next start. I don't think he would put himself at risk like that. As much as we all say these athletes are just pure competitors, they never want to come out of a game. They never want to miss a start. It gets to that point where he's not a rookie trying to make his name. He's veteran right now. So I think he's seasoned enough with how the game works and how his body is. If he's saying he's able to make his next start, I believe him. But you can see if you go back and watch the film over the last couple of starts, you could tell his command really wasn't there. His walks were going up. I think that was affecting more his grip on the ball than his ability to throw it. So I think that it would just be maybe missing a start or two. I don't think it's going to be. Hopefully, it's not more than that.
I think it's going to be more than that, bro. You're probably looking at something like maybe tendonitis, maybe an inflammation. If it's not going to be surgery, and I don't think it will be, I don't think he would have been able to pitch at all if it was like a surgery situation. Yeah. But I think whatever elbow is involved, I think
it makes you nervous. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think it's insane to even think that he's going to be able to make the next start. I think you're probably looking at anything ranging between 2 to 3 weeks at minimum, in my opinion. Rob, what's your takeaway? What are you thinking here?
Put him on the IL. Don't risk it.
Right.
It's still early enough in the season where you can say if we have to miss him for a month with Cole coming back, and Tad said you just got Rodon. We saw Elmer Rodriguez get called up earlier this year. I know Heel hasn't been great, but he can still give you a start or two if needed. Warren's been great. Weathers has been great. Obviously, you have depth in the rotation where you can afford to, let's say, miss 3-4 weeks of Fried. He's an important piece. Not even mention the ace of the staff so far is Cam Schlittler. You have enough starting pitching that you can survive. Oh, that's right, Heel is down. But still, even with that, you do have enough starting pitching with Rodon back and Cole coming back and ERC, who still likes to be called that you can give it a few weeks. Make sure he's good to go, because why put him out there? Let's say he does force his way to make his next start or misses one and starts in a week, and he tweaks something again. Then he's out for the rest of the year. You don't want to risk that. His velo's been down. He has not been pitching as well. Yeah. Like you said, Tats, his last few starts. You can tell something's up. Why risk it? Why risk it? It's May 15th. It's not like it's September 15th and we're fighting for the division right now. You can afford, I know every game matters, but you can afford to make sure that your $27 million top of the rotation starter is 100% ready for when you need him most. Because this rotation is too good to risk it. And put him on the IL. Don't risk anything. Don't be stupid. I know Fried wants to pitch. That's the competitor in him, but you got to be smart about this. The same thing that happens when Stanton gets hurt all the time. I say just put him on the IL. He's too important to say, oh, give it a couple. They're always wrong anyway. They always say it's nothing serious. Look at Caballero. Oh, he'll be fine. IL. So it's just do it. Get it over with, and we'll see you hopefully in a week or two. And that's probably best case scenario. Yeah, trade Stanton. Cut him too. DFA him. He's not important to this team. It's just, I hate that they always wait and make everyone wait when they know it's going to end up being an IL stint. Just do it. especially for a pitcher with the elbow. Once you hear elbow, even if it's not Tommy
You
John,
cringe, yeah.
yeah, put him on the IL. Don't be stupid. He's too important. This season's too important, especially with certain players and ages and guys coming back from injury. This is the year to kind of go all out, not knowing about the future past this season with the CBA. So you need everyone 100%, and Max Fried's at the top of the list of players that need to be 100% for the most important parts of the season. Do not be stupid. If you have to miss him for 3 weeks, bite the bullet.
The only update, because we've all been updating X over the course of the show to see if there's been any media update. The only update we have is from Tiki Barber. He was saying on the Evans show, Tiki and Evans show, he's hearing that Max Fried does not need Tommy John surgery, but he will miss some time. So some time can be ranging from anything. Like, we don't know what sometime means. Sometime probably means an extended time, in my opinion. So we're probably not going to see Max Fried for a little while anyway. I would be surprised if we see him before the end of this month, personally, because anything with elbows and inflammation, you're going to need to shut that down minimum 2 weeks and then slowly work it back up in terms of bullpen side sessions and things like that, and then long toss and all that jazz, and then it's going to take a little bit of time, and then a rehab stint. So my personal belief is he won't need Tommy John, just judging by that update. I don't think he'll need it anyway, and then he'll need about maybe 3-4 weeks. Maybe that'll be something that it could be, and that would be the best case scenario for me. So listen, it's not good news. And by the way, another aspect to this that hasn't been touched on is this really hurts our bullpen, right? Because the talk was that if you had a full staff of Max Fried, Garrett Cole, Rodon, Will Warren, just to start with, then you'd be like, oh, well, maybe we can move Weathers into the bullpen to strengthen our bullpen, because our bullpen is completely and utterly fucked, right? So, like, maybe moving Weathers into the bullpen, or maybe Will Warren into the bullpen can maybe steal up that bullpen, because our bullpen is completely and utterly fucked. But that's basically out of the question now. That's out of the question, because now you're going to need Ryan Weathers, which I'm fine with, because he started great. He's been great. But like, now you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. Now our bullpen is still going to be decimated. So either way you look at it, it's actually really bad news, because now there's no way you can really upgrade this bullpen until the July deadline, or you can maybe scour the waiver wire, but there's no help coming with this bullpen. And that's bad news.
Yeah, because we were getting ready. We actually were starting to have the discussion, that with Rodon back, Weathers could be the guy that goes into the pen, but he's been pitching. Like, the starting pitching is not the problem, and that's the problem. Like, there's no clear cut. All right, we have an excess of starting pitches. Who fits us better to be moved to the bullpen? I think it'd be Weathers over Warren. I wouldn't really mess with Warren. He's been fine, and I really enjoyed watching him. Weathers has been a very pleasant surprise. I didn't know what he was going to look like coming onto the team, because he's the only new guy really, outside of maybe one person, that's on the roster right now. So, if when Hill's healthy, does he go to a bullpen spot? To try to prevent him going back on the IL or being sent down? Are they able to find value that way? I'm glad I don't have to make the call, because it's a tough decision, because it can, there's no clear cut path for any resolution right now.
No, that's what I'm worried about. Oh.
The bullpen stinks, man. Like, outside of Bednar, it's so bad. I mean, Hedrick's been kind of a surprise, but I like Tim Hill, but after that awful throw to third, it was just like, God, what are you doing? LeGrand, John, I mean, a lot of people bring him up as a guy that can come up and just throw absolute heat. I still want to see what he can be as a starter, but we have so much starting pitching depth that maybe he is a guy that is Dylan Betances that they keep comparing him to. But Giovanni Cruz has been dealing in AAA. I mean, there's some options that you can give a shot to, but man, this bullpen's a concern. And that was my biggest gripe of the offseason is they didn't do a goddamn thing to address it. Like Doval's been horrible. The guy throws a 102-mile-an-hour cutter. You can't get guys to miss the pitch. It's like you're throwing a 102-mile-an-hour cookie, basically. You just said earlier it's difficult to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Not if you're facing Camilo Doval, apparently. The guy gets tagged. So I don't get it because he was one of the best closers in baseball not too long ago. And there's really no one. Cruz, I wouldn't say is really reliable, but he's probably our second best arm outside of Bednar, and even Bednar is kind of up and down at times. But he's probably the one guy that you look at and go, he's free of blame. Paul Blackburn's going to be asked to give us big innings. Yarborough, like he's more of a spot starter. I mean, and Ryan Weathers going to the bullpen. The guy just nearly threw a no-hitter, so I don't really want to put him out there in the bullpen. It's like he's been really good as a starter so far, so I just really don't know what to do. There aren't really a lot of answers because even, like I said earlier, Giovanni Cruz, he's a guy that struggled with command as well, and Healing Men's Hearts bringing up with the command of ERC and LeGrand. It's like they could come up here and walk the bases loaded and get absolutely tattooed. So there's really no answer, and that's why when they didn't do anything to address the bullpen besides Angel Chivilli in the offseason, I was upset. I was like, you want to run back the same offense that led baseball in almost every category? Fine. You have a really good rotation, especially when you're getting two guys back healthy, fine. But to not address the bullpen at all when there were several guys available, now you're going to have to overpay for some of these guys at the deadline because you have to go get a reliable either setup man or ninth inning guy and put Bednar in the eighth just to make sure that the back end of your bullpen is set. And they're going to have to overpay because they could have done it last year when guys like Mason Miller and Duran were on the block, but Duran might be on the block this year because the Phillies aren't playing good baseball. But I mean, you're going to have to overpay because they have to do it every single year. They overpay for the bullpen, and they go, well, it isn't running it back because we didn't have these guys last year. Yeah, you did. When you lost in the playoffs, these same guys are on the team again. And the bullpen struggled last year in the playoffs. What's it doing this year? Struggling. It's like, wow, what a concept. If we just improved the thing that needed to be improved the most, we probably wouldn't be losing 4 in a row, whatever it's been. But I don't know, man. This bullpen is concerning. It was my biggest concern going into the season because Cade Winquist was one of their pickups, and he didn't even pitch a single third of an inning. So it was just like, what was yeah, exactly. What was the game plan there? You know, what was the game plan for the bullpen? Like, were you just going to be like, no, Doval will turn it around and Bednar will be an absolute lock? Bednar's been good. Like I said, he's the one that's probably excused from all the bit of blame, but he hasn't been absolutely shut down. So if he has an off day, who's going to come in and save his ass?
Nobody.
Exactly. Doval has to be better. He hasn't. Cruz has to be good every single time because if he does have a hiccup, then this bullpen is absolutely screwed. It's really a 2, maybe 3-man bullpen with Tim Hill because he has been reliable more often than not. But you can't survive an 8-man bullpen with 2 or 3 guys being good and the rest being yikes.
For me, that's why Bednar's stats are a little bit elevated right now because he's pitching basically every single close game. Every close game. I mean, you're not unless you're Mariano Rivera, you can't do that. Not as a closer, you're going to be worn out, and they are hurtling towards wearing him out. And we're only in May, so that is a real concern. I'm not worried about what Bednar's stuff is. I'm not worried about Bednar's ability. Bednar already showed you last year how good he is.
Yep.
But Brian Cashman laughed in our faces with his bullpen. Look at the moves that he made. Cade Winquist, are you laughing at me? He signed Paul Blackburn early in the offseason without scouring the free agent market. That's just basically laughing in our face. And then Shivili, I mean, you can't be serious at your job if that is the three options that you have. And promise me, those were his plans. He was planning on them being a big part of this bullpen. He thought that they would hit the Matt Blake factory and they would turn into something special, because once Matt Blake gets a hold of them, then all good things happen. That's what they thought. They thought Winquist was going to be their Garrett Whitlock. That's what they thought. They thought Winquist was going to be Garrett Whitlock. And it just was a disaster because he was awful in spring training and unusable. And to be fair, Cashman's arrogance has gotten to this point. It's supreme arrogance to build a bullpen 100% solely on UDFAs and waiver wire pickups and quadruple A pitchers, triple A pitchers, single A pitchers, and hoping that Matt Blake can suddenly miraculously turn them into major league pitchers. He's got exactly what he deserved because this process that Brian Cashman parades about, telling us it's the greatest process, they love his process. That process is a disgrace. This process is wearing down your star closer. This process is going to wear out your starting rotation. That's the problem. That's his process. And his process is that only half this lineup can hit. Yeah, Jason, I know I broke that 5-10 minutes ago. I already said that Tiki Barber has already broken that Max Fried doesn't need Tommy John surgery, but I do appreciate the comment. Thank you. But yes, so that is really where it's at. It's kind of like an arrogance, I think, Cashman, with this bullpen, and it's coming back to haunt us, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah, Jason, thank you so much for the comment, and do appreciate the update too. Salute to you. Everybody, could you guys, if you got a chance to hop on over to YouTube and hit the like button, share it out, sub it out, and do all the good stuff. There's almost 200 people in the chat, which is fantastic. Love having this turnout on a Friday. It's fantastic. Healing Man's Heart says Colorado fleeced us with those trades. Max got fleeced by the Rockies. That's not a good look for Brian Cashman. Jazz looks uninterested. I do agree with that. Shall we do a little bit of awards since Rob is back? What do you think? Should streamline some awards, Uncle Tats?
Your one segment's all yours. Go for it.
All right, man. Hit us up. Yo, we got the video back. Let's go. Everybody hit the like button for our boy Robinho. He's back. He's back like he never left. And let's start with the MVP of this colossal disaster of a series. Let's start with Rob.
I mean, I'm going with Ben Rice. There weren't really many options. Judge was okay at times. Goldschmidt, I mean, I think I can give Goldschmidt the award. I think he had like a leadoff home run twice. So, you know what? I'm going to go with Goldschmidt. I'm going to give it to Paulie, the substitute teacher. That old bastard still sometimes has that pop in there. So happy to see it. I'm going to go Goldie.
Yeah, I think the teacher, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. I'm going Goldie as well. Uncle Tats?
Yeah, I think the teacher and student combo is working really well in Rice's favor and Goldie's as well. The MVP, I'm going to go with Goldschmidt as well. I think that he kind of set the tone of what could have been, and if he just had a little more help, it would have just given his at bats a little more impact.
Low-key MVP. Is there a low key? Or do we even just rub that out after we got beat 2 out of 3? Rob, do you have a low key?
Yeah, I would give it to Ben Rice. It really weren't many options there, but Rice did come through. He came back. I think didn't he have a home run in the game that we won? Like a 3-run bomb?
No, that was
Grisham had the 3-run
Grisham,
home.
bro.
Was that Grisham?
Yeah, Ben Rice did hit a home run in our 3-2 defeat against the Orioles.
Oh, so it was okay. I knew he had a home run. You got to forgive me. I've been moving for like the last few days. My days are all jumbled up, but I'm going with Ben Rice as my second MVP, low key.
Low key MVP. All right, Uncle Tats, do you have a low key?
Yeah, I'm with Rob. It's Rice.
I'm not giving anybody a low key. Heck, we got beat 2 out of 3. We didn't hit. No one gets the low key. Ben Rice is the overall MVP of the season, but like by far. But was there a really low key? I can't. Sorry. Let's go with clutch awards. Did anybody come up clutch for you? I guess Grisham, maybe the 3-run home run.
That was pretty big.
I guess
that
so.
was probably the only one that would be considered clutch, considering that's the game we won. No one else is really clutch in a loss.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I wanted to give another one to Goldie. Being a bench player and to be able to do what he did, with the 2 home runs leading off, it's first pitch home run in a game. I think it was the first one for the Yankees this year. They said on the broadcast, clutch. I'm going with Goldschmidt.
Okay.
I don't trust Grisham enough. I don't like him enough to give him a positive award yet.
I completely agree with you. I don't believe Grisham deserves.
Not yet. Let's see what happens next series.
At the moment, he's not even starting caliber center field. He's playing right now, and offensively, he's been garbage. I know that he did hit the 3-run home run, and normally that would constitute some kind of credit, but I can't give Trent Grisham any credit in all conscience. I mean, he's setting the table as a leadoff man, and he's batting $180. I mean, forget about it. He ain't gonna get that award from me. So yeah, I'll double up on Tats and give Goldie. I've been very impressed with Goldschmidt. Salute to you, man. A 40-year-old who's a Hall of Famer, willingly just taking a back step and being okay, just being a role player, having occasional at-bats. I mean, it does take a psychological change, because you're no longer a superstar. And, he's done that, and he's really tailored his game to being a really effective kind of piece to this team. So, salute to Goldschmidt. So I think he does deserve that credit. Pitching award. Can you give anybody a pitching award? Let's start with Rob.
Ryan Weathers. Guy was throwing a no-hitter for, 6 innings?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'm copying off Rob's paper. It's really Weathers. It sucks when when the options are so limited, especially since we always talk up this pitching staff, and how well they've played. But I mean, Weathers just took it to another level this series.
Weathers almost pitched a no-hitter. He was fantastic. And it was a slap in the face to him, to the team, that the bullpen blew it instantly as soon as they took him out. It was a slap in the face to what Weathers did out there. So, I mean, it was astonishing. During our 4-game losing streak, 2 of those 4 losses came from our starter pitching a shutout over the course of 6 innings. That's frightening. That'll tell you exactly how bad this bullpen is. That as soon as you take out our starter who's gone over 6 innings of shutout ball, and then you immediately turn to a bullpen, the very first guy gave up a home run or gave up runs or just blew the whole thing altogether.
Yeah, did him dirty on that.
Terrible look. So Yeah, he's definitely getting the pitching award for me. He was awesome. He was absolutely awesome, and it was definitely a slap in the face to him and the team that the bullpen blew it instantly. So that then leads us seamlessly to our intrepid manager, who couldn't wait to bring Anthony Volpe back to wreck the day. What would you give Aaron Boone out of 10? Let's start with Rob.
I'm still continuing my rule from last year. I ain't giving him anything above a 5 until he wins something. So I know he's been acting a little bit differently this year, but big fat 0 for me.
Yeah. Tats.
Yeah, I think he could have utilized the bench more, better with the lineups. I'm giving him a 2.
Woo! Let's go. I am going to be very harsh with him, especially.
Really? You love Bone.
I know. We're best buddies. I'm giving him a flat 0 for the Brent Hedrick move alone. So Ryan Weathers is a lefty that was going and mowing him down, and in that matchup where Hedrick gave up that home run, it was against the guy that mashes lefties. Like, if you look at the difference, Kobe Mayo hits lefties well, but can't hit righties. So in Aaron Boone's infinite wisdom, he has Hedrick pitching instead of a righty against Mayo. Hedrick's been good, I know, but the matchup didn't make sense. Mayo is like batting like 500 OPS, I believe, something in that range against righties, and it's 700 plus OPS against lefties. It didn't make sense to go Hedrick in that matchup, especially considering you've been throwing a lefty the entire game, and then you just bring in another lefty that isn't as good as the lefty you just subbed out. It didn't make sense, and it was a big, beautiful gift that was handed to the Orioles. That is what classic bullpen Boone mismanagement. And then we haven't even gotten to he couldn't wait to get Aaron Boone back in the lineup. That was another big L. Aaron Boone's managed well this year. Very well. But this series, complete disaster class. 0, Aaron Boone. Yeah, I mean, Issy, that's a kind one. That's a very kind one. But yes, we were all very much in agreement. He had a horrible series, Aaron Boone. 0. Just look at what happened to the infield as soon as Volpe was back. Chaos. Complete and utter chaos caused by Volpe and our intrepid manager. All right, keep chewing that gum, Booney boy. Right, let's get to the next awards. You're my boy Blue Awards. You are my boy Blue. Where's our graphic? There it is. You're my boy Blue. I'm kicking off. You're my boy Blue. I'm giving it to Robinho. He's the only one that deserves it. Robinho is back. And as soon as Robinho is back, there's 200 people in the chat. Says that a lot of people miss our Robinho. So he is our boy Blue. Uncle Tats.
Yeah, no, you got to give it to Rob. Rob, we miss you. You're the foundation of what we are, and we're glad to have you back with us.
I'm glad to be back here for hopefully I can come on a little bit more often, but it is good to finally be able to pop on, like I said earlier, see everybody. It's been hectic recently, and it's nice to just chill, talk some baseball, whether it's good or bad, with same 2 I've been talking baseball with for 5+ years, going on 6. It's been crazy.
Fucking crazy, bro. Fucking crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a good choice. Amen to that. Do we have an L to give out? I would think so.
I'm sure we could figure one out.
I think we can figure it out. Rob, who you giving the L to?
Well, I mean, there's 2 bad awards, and can I double up on Volpe?
You can do whatever you want, my friend.
I mean, I just kind of spoiled it because he's getting the other one, but the L I'm gonna give to Aaron Boone for putting him in the lineup as soon as he could. The first game he couldn't because he had just gotten called back up, and there's some travel stuff, and Schumann did fine, I think. And then here's Anthony Volpe back to ruin everything. So I'm going with Aaron Boone. You put him back in the lineup, and things just fell apart almost immediately. It's like it's almost, if you don't believe in jinxes, you probably should, because just watch that defense and you'll see why. It's the same thing that happened last year when he put Jazz at third for no reason. Things fell apart. Volpe comes back into the fold for one game and they get smoked, and the defense can't field. I mean, what more evidence do you need that curses and jinxes are real?
You right. You right. Uncle Tats.
Yeah, the L. I gotta go. I gotta go with the bullpen. I thought the bullpen is really, we were getting some good starts, where we were kept in the game. The bullpen just completely, you said, outside of Bednar, and Tim Hill, what do we have? Like they gotta focus, and maybe the L can go to Matt Blake because he's supposed to be this magic maker that's not making any magic, So the pitching.
Don't forget, we got rid of our bullpen coach for no reason.
Yeah,
a very good bullpen.
Yeah, Harkey was doing nothing wrong, and they got rid of him. So maybe the new bullpen coach they brought in is why they're not having the same season as they were expected, carrying over from last year.
I never agree with that.
There's plenty of
stupid mistake.
So I'm giving the L to the pitching staff. I'm just going to give.
No one talks about us firing that bullpen coach. He's been with us since the dinosaurs. Like, he was a very respected coach. I just think that they needed to sacrifice someone to make it look like they did something. That's what I think it was, because it was another bad year. They were never going to fire Aaron Boone. They were never going to fire any of his assistants. So they're like, all right, who's the easy guy that I can get rid of? Oh, the base running coach / first base coach. Oh, and that bullpen coach, who cares about him? That's what I think. That's what I think it was. It was like, let's make it look like we're doing something to make it look like that we actually have a process, when they really didn't have a process at all. That's my personal belief. You guys in the chat can agree, disagree. I don't care. That's my belief. I think it was just a sacrificial lamb, and it was pretty sad and shameless. But Uncle Tats, I completely agree with you. I'm going with the entire bullpen. You can go with Hedrick. He was awful this series. You can go with Camilo Doval. He's awful in general. You can go with Paul Blackburn, who came in for Max Frieden, was awful. The entire bullpen was a train wreck this series. So the L is definitely going to the bullpen. Again, I don't know. The only move I can really blame Aaron Boone for was to double up on the lefties against someone that hits lefties pretty well in Mayo. So that was a big mistake from Boone. But apart from that, I don't know how much I can blame Aaron Boone for this bullpen. He has who are you going to choose? It's just like that. It's just like that scene in Batman 1989 when the Joker's like, "Who are you gonna trust? Who 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 are you gonna trust?" And that's where we're at, because I don't trust anyone in this bullpen apart from our closer, and maybe a little bit of Cruz. Apart from that, it's up in the air. So. That leads us to the final award, my favorite award, and it's this clown, Aaron Hicks. The Aaron Hicks Award, which will soon be the Anthony Volpe Award. If this continues, I think we're absolutely hurtling towards that being a very real probability that the Anthony Volpe Award. So, Rob, the Anthony Volpe / Aaron Hicks Award, who are you giving it to?
Anthony Volpe. He's back one game, and it completely fell off the rails. Will they get one hit and shut out? He still can't field his position. I mean, the ball will find you. It found him. He didn't find it apparently, but that time in AAA didn't help. It somehow made him worse, and I didn't think that was possible. So Anthony Volpe gets the Aaron Hicks Award, which might be renamed at this point.
You know, that is amazing, because if you look at his MLB stats, his AAA stats are actually worse than his MLB stats last year. If you look at all the metrics, that's frightening. How can you get an OPS worse than 600, which it was in the majors? Stuff 590 in AAA. What the? That's disgraceful. But the no accountability Yankees, Uncle Tats, who you giving that award to?
My Hicks Award is Boone. You know, he's the one that, you knew that Caballero wasn't right. You still insisted on using him, which led to Volpe getting called up. I thought his pitching moves, his lineups, why didn't they? There was so many things that have gone wrong this series. Nothing he decided went right. Nothing he decided on. So I can't give him any credit. It's almost like that scene from Billy Madison. We are all stupider for having to watch and listen to what we heard and what we saw. That's just the way
Lord
it
have
is.
mercy on your soul.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So and it sucks because we were saying Boone hasn't really done anything wrong in the start of the season, but this particular, this series, it's like he just reverted back to his Boone ways from last year, where he panicked, and didn't know what to do. And a good leader does not panic.
That's a good point. Okay, so my Aaron Hicks Award is going to be Anthony Volpe. Here he comes to wreck the day. That is Anthony Volpe. He is here to wreck the day. He wrecked my day when he got called up, and he wrecked it even worse when he played. His fielding mechanics are awful. His arm is terrible. His attitude's worse, and his swing is dreadful. It's disgusting. He's a horrible baseball player and has no business playing at the major leagues. It's as simple as that. He's a horrible baseball player, and he needs to be sent down to AAA. I don't care what happens in this Subway Series. It was a terrible slap in the face to the to the people that actually work hard in AAA for an opportunity, and then you give it to somebody that's tanking in AAA to get called back up again just because he's the golden boy. I think it's a terrible look for the organization, and everyone involved in calling him back up should be ashamed of themselves. Quite seriously, they should be ashamed of themselves. It's only hurting Volpe, it only hurts the team, and it hurts the idea that this is a meritocracy. It's not a meritocracy if you're calling him back up. It really isn't.
It was looking that way until this point.
Exactly. His numbers were a disgrace, and then you look at the people around him in AAA that were all hitting well, and they don't get an opportunity, but the golden boy does, just because he's friends with Aaron Judge. I mean, give me a break. Like, there's something going on here. So I think it's shameful, and everyone involved in calling him back up should be ashamed of themselves. That's my awards. Looks like a Clydesdale ice case. Right, that's my favorite. That's the comment of the week.
Yep.
Issy, you get the comment of the week. Anthony Volpe's footwork looks like a Clydesdale horse on ice skates. It's fantastic.
Rob, give us your final takes on this before we sign out, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be back on here. First time in the new year. Actually, it's been over 5-6 months. Jesus Christ, how quickly time flies. It's good to see everybody. It's good, of course, to be on here with Donald and Tats. I wish Luca was on here with us. Hopefully soon I can get on when he's on. Good to see everybody in this chat. Some of the usual suspects. It's just been fun. It's like I never left. Hopefully I'll see you guys sooner than later. Don't want to make any promises, unfortunately. Things are a little bit hectic, but hey, baseball is a weird sport. Today we could be upset about the Yankees. Tomorrow we could be riding high because they beat the shit out of the Mets. Hopefully they do. This is a weird team. This is a weird game, and we've been following it for our entire lives, and we're used to it. The Yankees are like a, dare I say, toxic relationship. But you stick with them, right? I don't even know if I want to call it toxic, but they are like, you're married, and you got to deal with them because you love them. But sometimes you just want to rip your fucking hair out. But hey, that's baseball. That's our team. But let's go Yankees. I'm glad to be on here with you guys. I'm glad to see everybody. I love you all. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. Back here for the first time in half a year.
Yeah,
That's good.
Like riding a bike. Just you never forget how to do it. 6 years we worked together, and it seems like it's nothing. Thankfully, nothing has changed with our friendships. And hope to get you back really soon. But with that, we are going to sign off. Hope everybody does enjoy their weekend. Enjoy the Subway Series. Enjoy the basketball, as I know Donald will. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out with your friends, your family. The strangers on the corner. I'm Uncle Tass with Donald and Rob. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. And remember, wear those pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Go Knicks!